Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands like Montclair. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR. Outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first interview of the year, Austin, Texas, Texas's own Montclair. How we doing, gentlemen?
Excellent.
Good, good. What's up?
Good. What's the temperature tonight in Austin?
45, but it's warmer tomorrow with the high of 67. And if
Okay.
you're wondering about that too.
Yeah, we were just in Florida last week for a little quick family trip, and it was like, high 70s, low 80s. And I was like, gosh, it's wonderful. And then we came back to Snowmageddon up here in Pennsylvania. So I want to hear about first, because you kind of told me beforehand, like we're kind of all from Texas, but we're not all from Austin. So kind of give us each our background and how we got to Austin.
Yeah, well, I got to Austin. So I grew up in Magnolia, which is a town north of Houston, and I was really into rock climbing growing up. So I was driving to Austin pretty much every weekend, anyways, and kind of fell in love with the town. And so the band we met in College Station when we all went to college at Texas A&M. And so after that, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to immediately move to Austin, where all the fun rock climbing is.
Yeah, and then my partner has been in Austin for since 2017. And so for me, I was like it was always where I was going to end up after undergrad. So it just kind of worked out that way. And Anna, and our bassist who isn't on the call, also ended up here. I think just the community of Austin is something that attracted all of us, and it's kind of its own little mecca in Texas for various reasons, and just where we were, we all kind of got pulled in, except Jackson, the strong-willed Houstonian down
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say the story for how Jackson moved to Austin is ongoing.
Yeah.
It's still being
TBD.
it's unwritten. Yeah. Yeah, I started in Houston. I went to A&M. I knew I was going back to Houston because I am too attached to Houston sports. The Astros, the Rockets, and the Texans have the majority of my attention span during the week. But during the weekend, these guys get my attention. So, uh, what I split my time. Houston and Austin. It's good living. It's a lot of driving, but it's good living.
Well, so that since all three of you have lived in cities outside of Austin, like give me one great thing about College Station, one thing you hated, one great thing about Austin, one great thing you hate, and then for Jackson as well, Houston and then Austin.
Okay. Man, I would never badmouth College Station. Place is perfect. I think the thing about Austin that's so great for me is the nature here. I mean, it's like I love how the city emphasizes its green spaces. I mean, I love being outside. I'm allergic to all of it. I found out earlier last year, but I'm working on that. There's things you can do now. But yeah, I love the outdoors. So
Am I being pressured to comment on College Station or not comment on College Station? I feel like you gave
No
the
pressure.
response. Uh, I mean, College Station is definitely tiny. It rallies around A&M, and I think that creates a very unique culture. I'm a grad student at UT right now, getting my master's in social work, so I can kind of compare the student cultures of Austin and College Station, and they're really quite different in terms of the importance of like values and community, because you have a lot of that in A&M out of necessity because there's nothing around. And that's something I really appreciate. But you do have the struggle of it being much smaller, being removed from, some elements of diversity and pieces like that. And that definitely can be, challenging for a lot of folks. Austin offers a lot more of that. And with, the nature and the infrastructure, it's definitely a lot more built out. And I think Austin's gone through such an interesting trajectory the past 6 years with kind of the tech boom and the marketing boom and A whole lot of people moving here, and now it's kind of dying down, and you're seeing what's lasting. And I think there's a lot of beauty in that, seeing, where the heart of Austin still continues to thrive and exist because it's been here for a very long time, and it just kind of gets clouded by all the attention we get. So yeah, I love it here. It's hard to leave, that's for sure. I want to leave because I want to live somewhere with a mountain or like a big body of water, and I can't seem to get away. It pulls you in.
What about you, Jackson?
Fair enough. Houston, the best part about Houston is that it's a melting pot of every culture on earth. I learn something new from somebody new from a new part of the world. I feel like every day or week, um, which hand in hand also goes in with the second best part, which is the food scene is amazing. I I would put it on par with New York and LA, and some people have beef with that. I say if you do square up, we can fight about it. The worst part about Houston is the drivers. Everybody will tell you that. I'll be the first to yell it from the mountaintop. Everybody drives like it's their last day on earth. Um, but if you get good at driving like that, you can drive anywhere. So, silver lining.
Wow, I did not know that. It is weird though, like the national kind of like, I don't know, like consciousness about like Houston. You feel like Houston has always been this underrated city. Why do you think that is?
Houston outwardly is represented. It's an oil and gas and a medical city. Like that's what everybody knows about it. You look at the skyline and it's uh, oil and gas buildings or giant flagship hospitals, both of which are, accomplishing great things. But amidst all of the giant skyscrapers and structures, you forget that there are like boroughs to Houston, like there are to New York. Um, you go to New York and you spend all your time in, Manhattan. Great, you've gotten just the Manhattan part of it, but you miss Queens, you miss Brooklyn, you miss, all these other wonderful parts and subsects of culture. And that's why Houston kind of gets this underrated thing because people know Houston is downtown, right? Energy and medical. But you step outside of that and you get all these wonderful kind of different perspectives of the world.
That's cool. So for College Station, let's get back to College Station a second. Like going to college there, are there a lot of music venues? Like, did it support like independent music, or was it a lot of cover bands and like that kind of bullshit, or what do you got?
I don't, man, I mean, like, it's weird because when we were there, there were like two or three other indie bands. But then ever since we've left, I mean, my little brother still goes there. Well, he just graduated, and it was like we hit it at the right time. I don't know. It was awesome. Because like Rococo Disco, who they're all here in Austin now, we kind of came up together, and so we kind of piggybacked off their little like thing that they had going. I felt like for a little bit. But I don't know. We played our first show at a rooftop bar. No, we played our first show in a garage. That one got shut down by the cops. Then we played a rooftop bar called Z Bar. And then we played in a hotel like bar, which was really weird. Uh, so no, there were not very many venues. we played pretty much wherever we could, and we got shut down several times.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But people clamor for, music there, that's for sure. Like when there's something that feels special, people seem to rally around it. And, venue or not, people show. And that, I don't know, we got that and that was really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, with the community, it's like you said, it's like the community that kind of built up around the band pretty much instantly. And a lot of that had to do with Anna, who was like filling our rooms by like just pitching us constantly and inviting every single person. It was cool to see that happen so quickly there.
Do you guys feel like the dynamic with her is you're all like, excuse me, like her big brother, or like is that kind of, am I wrong in thinking that?
No.
No, we're
No.
very much
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think
Quadruplets, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's probably most accurate.
Gotcha, gotcha. So we're playing South by this year. We are official artists, getting to play this festival in your hometown. Like when you got that call or whatever or text, what does it mean to you to be able to play this festival?
That's very exciting. Um, it's really cool. Like, of course, like I think me being a photographer, it's it can be easy when I'm so in the music scene all the time to not necessarily understand what all these things really mean. And so what's been really cool for me is like just getting texts from the family or whatever. They're like, "Hey, saw you're doing this. Congratulations." And it's like, "Oh, I guess this is really awesome." And it is. And so I'm grateful and excited.
Yeah. And I think for somebody a little more detached from the music scene, I don't spend as much time as Kason as far as seeing kind of a big musical efforts. But for me, it's such an exciting step because we spent so long playing, garage shows getting shut down by the cops in College Station, right? Like this feels like I don't know, just an acknowledgement of the work we've put in. We've worked really hard over the last several years to put art out that we are proud of and to put out a presence that we feel represents us and to kind of get the nod to play something so notable in a city we care so much about is just it means the world. Like it's so exciting. I kind of have to pinch myself about it every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, over the 9 years that I've gone, I mean, I've seen bands in t-shirt factories, in flower shops, like in parking garages, like on bridges. It's on boats. It is a unique music festival. So, how do you feel like the city kind of like comes together for the festival because you guys are all citizens?
I think like it's a very interesting rally because there's so many pockets of experience within South by. I think there's been such a big push for the past number of years for the more businessy side, the more markety side, and that attracts its own crowd. But then there's still a lot of folks who are really committed to the music side. And I think music, art, all that stuff, you see that most represented in like the unofficial shows of people playing their official gigs and then, sprinting to the next thing. And we have buddies who will be playing like 27 shows in like 5 days. And you're like, how the hell are you like moving? And they're like, I'm not. Like they're being like wheeled in on the freaking excavator. But like I think it's just that piece where there's a rally to show people what Austin's about and a rally to um, summarize how people feel about art. And it's just really, really special. It's very different. And you just kind of feel that, rise up every year. Whether or not you're partaking in the official event or the unofficial event, it's just there. And you can't get away from it. And that's really cool.
Yeah. I like too that it's not like Austin City Limits or it's not like ACL, it's not like Riot Fest, it's not like some of these other festivals. Like all of these bars, restaurants, music venues get to be highlighted, like that's what's cool about it to me. Talk about that, like how the music venues get to be highlighted and some of your favorites, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's kind of this like surge of life that comes into the city of Austin around South by. We played an unofficial show last year, and that was my first time kind of witnessing what the city of Austin looks like during South by. And it's kind of it becomes this idealized version of Austin, right? It's you have people walking around on foot to different venues. Like they're going to three different shows at three different venues, all on foot or by Uber or whatever kind of means of transportation. But you get this like really cool sense of community where people are going to, the bigger venues, right? Like Antone's or Stubbs and seeing kind of uh, bigger name artists and then walking across the street to, Swan Dive and seeing a six band ticket of six bands that you will never forget, right? It's such a cool way to kind of see the city come alive in a way where, with ACL, like you mentioned, people show up, they get to the fairground in the morning, they leave at midnight, maybe they go to Whataburger afterwards, but that's kind of all of the additional business the city sees outside of Zilker Park.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too, seeing how the sprawl goes, in other directions too. It's not all central to downtown. Like my
Yeah.
favorite venue in Austin is Sagebrush, and that's pretty far south towards this lovely boy at the outskirts. But like you see the way that pops up too and gets a lot of recognition and the different people who go to those venues versus people down like I don't know, you experience so many facets of it like Jackson's saying and that's just so cool.
Yeah, it's funny. Like each year, I will go. Well, you'll kind of like, yeah. Each year, kind of you end up being in a certain area of Austin more than like other years. So, like last year, we were a lot of East Austin. Like that was a major thing. But like the year before was a lot of South Austin. Then the year before was like more Central Austin. So you do get a taste of all of like the areas. So it is kind of cool, like in that respect. So
Well, and
I want to talk about like
sorry,
you
I
know,
didn't. But I had one quick thing to say about
yeah.
it too. It's like like South by started in Austin, and I think like it's the kind of thing that I think a city like Austin it really could have only come from Austin because I think what I love so much about this city, especially like kind of the way things used to be a little bit more, it's changed a lot, is like they kind of just let things happen. And I love that about our businesses and about our like the culture here. It's like a little more relaxed and a little more laid back. Like, hey, let the trees grow in that weird spot and then we'll just build the house around it, you know? And I think that that's really at the heart of what I think South by came up out of. Is like, hey, why is it that this weird festival you walk to all these different? Well, that's because that's how it is here. It's like we have all these business, and so I love that it grew organically in that way, and I hope that as things continue to change, that they kind of stay true to that because I think it's really cool.
Let's hope so. We can
It'll
only
happen.
hope so.
Yeah, yeah.
I must say, like as I was saying before, the Austin music scene, if nationally, a lot of people still aren't real familiar with it. But I mean, the bands that are coming out of your city, like it's insane. Like the town. I mean, the Peterson brothers, Parker Woodland, West Texas Exiles, like all of these bands. You guys, like have some of these bands reached out to you, and how is that relationship with some of the community?
Yeah, we've done a lot with the band of Heathens, who they're awesome guys, started here, and I think like Austin, Austin is a really really cool music scene, and I think we want to do it justice. Like I think as a band, music has changed so much, but like I want to respect that, coming into the Austin scene. And I also want it to get more recognition. Like I want, you know, I want the Austin music scene to not be overlooked, because I think it's cool. And I think it's cool as a direction for music as a whole too. Because it feels original and it feels honest. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'll say a lot of the, I feel like every day we're in the Austin music scene, I learn about five new bands who are all incredible.
Yeah.
Like every time I think I've reached the limits of like the Austin music scene, I'm like, surely I've heard every band. There are five more bands, and all of them are great, right? That's like Casey mentioned, everybody it just rips. Um, but I think what we're seeing now, especially with the bands you mentioned, like West Texas Exiles and these really great groups, you know, those bands specifically played in maybe different venues than us and got involved with different circles than us because there are so many kind of concentric circles in Austin. Um, so you're asking kind of who we're engaging with or who we're talking with, and I think who primarily we're talking with are a lot of the musicians that we came up with playing, the six band tickets on a Wednesday at Barracuda, right? Um, we there's some amazing talents in bands like the Next of Kin, or I think they just played ACL, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our first ever Austin shows was with one of their members, Kaylin. Um, so we've stay in contact with them. We've talked with Briscoe, who I know we talked a bit about before the show, but we, I mean, I think we played shows with them back in our College Station days, right? Like
Okay.
back when it was just the Briscoe EP was out.
Yeah.
We were in talks with them and have kind of played several shows with them as they continue to grow. Um, and I think as we continue to kind of to uh, foster and nourish these relationships we have, we get the amazing opportunity to start building new relationships with all these other bands that we, you know, by friend of friend and band of band start to get to know. And I think that's really exciting to kind of be a part of um, all of these other bands' growth, right? See everybody kind of start to step up and represent the Austin music scene on the national stage.
What about you, Clay?
About bands that
Yeah.
I want to pitch. I mean,
Well,
there's so
how,
many.
like, I guess, how important is it to you, or is it, is that not, something you're more focused on the songwriting, or where are your priorities at, I guess?
Yeah, Kason and I were having a long conversation about this before the call. Just for me being in a master's program, I'm moving towards the field of social work, and that's something that I feel very, very strongly about. And that's caused me to evaluate, like, where I fall with music. What does it represent in my life? What does it serve? Who does it serve? Those kinds of pieces. And for me, it just always comes back to the fulfillment of creativity and art and just the need for that kind of expression, not just for myself, but also for bringing people together because there's so many subtleties for how people connect over that kind of expression. And so, I ebb and flow in how I consume art. I mean, there are periods where I don't go to a show here in Austin for like 3 months and I just become a recluse and they make fun of me for that because that is a tendency I have. But then, we'll play like 5 shows in 5 days, and then we're just like, we're so back. Um, and so I think just being here and having, that ability to move in and out of the scene and appreciate the art from afar. I mean, we have like the Austin studio tours twice a year, and that's hundreds of different artists and sometimes musicians, different other creative exhibits of people coming together to showcase things. And then you just have people hanging out for like 6 hours in a parking lot, just drinking beers and just, chilling. And that's the thing I love. And so when you go to shows, you get that kind of community. And we joke too that Austin is like a listening room. It's not you don't go to shows here to like go dance. And it's really intimidating at first when you look out in the crowd and everyone's just staring at you with like demon eyes. But then you also get the best compliments you've ever received. Where they're like, I've talked to Kason where it's like someone comes up to him after a show, and it's like this one lyric you said. And it's like this, and it meant this to me, and it tied me back to my child. And it's like this whole thing, and they're there. And so, for me, thinking about art and expression, like that's what it's about, of just, the human experience of that and, whatever scale that is, great. But it's important to have that in places, and it feels special with these folks, the Montclair friends, and how we get to do that together, and then how that brings us to other people in Austin and just the different shows we play. I know Jackson mentioned Next to Ken, Briscoe, all them, and then just some of my favorite bands like Being Dead, The Irons, Sleepwell, those guys rock. There's some crazy metal music here in Austin too, like coming out of Lostwell and Hotel Vegas. People are playing some crazy shows. Yeah, it's just good stuff like that. Like it's just yeah, diverse and fun.
So is Sagebrush, is that close to the Armadillo Den?
That is, yes. It's
Yeah.
closer to the Armadillo Den than like, than this downtown is to
Right.
Sagebrush.
Yeah, we saw a showcase at the Armadillo Den, and I highly recommend that place is great.
I live like right across the street from that place, so I'm there like at least once a week.
That's awesome. But they got to fix the parking situation, man, or have they
It's
fixed
rough.
it?
Yeah, yeah. The secret is, my Prius can't do it, but you can pull up onto the curb and into this little thing, and no one will get mad at you. Yeah,
You heard it here first.
it's rough, but you can make it work if you try real hard.
It's awesome. So I always ask musicians, like when you go to a concert, it's kind of like when a nurse or a doctor is hospitalized, like you're like, are you able to go to a show and like truly enjoy it, or are you kind of like looking at things or hearing things, or for each of you, like I want to hear an answer.
It's changed over the years for sure. I think when I was young, there was so much comparison in music. It was so driven by like the status and performance of it. It's just like how good can you get? Like you're refining your chops. And so there's the pressure from everyone around you to like, make it to like real musician status. And then once you start playing shows, like you just start really digesting how many different approaches people have. And every now and then you go to a show and it's just like, noise. Someone just props their guitar up to their amp and it's just feedback for 45 minutes. And you're like, that's an approach, but you're going to critique that in a very different way than you are, someone who's shredding, or when you go to a show and there's no guitar on stage, or, you're watching a guy rip pedal steel licks. And I've gotten to a place now where I just try and close my eyes at most shows and just, see what I feel and go off of that, which has been a really nice development. I feel like, that's some form of transcendence. I don't know what that says about me, but I like it.
What about you, Jackson?
I think it's kind of a twofold thing for me. The first is very similar to Clay's, where like I would go to shows, especially from like age 18 to 22, where I'd be like, oh, I'm a better drummer than them, or I'm a worse drummer than them. That was like always my kind of mindset is I either need to be better than this guy, or I can rest easy knowing that I was better than that guy, or I think I was better than that guy. And then I realized that watching old videos of me drumming is like watching videos of you talking when you're like 12. You're like, was my voice that high? Was my grammar that bad? Was my, you're like picking apart the way you speak. And I watch videos of the way I play drums, the way I tuned my drums, like my approach to drumming when, our first shows. Like if somebody showed me a video from our first show, I would probably cringe and be like, get that off the screen. I don't, I'm sure the music was great, but I don't want to hear me drumming. And so it has become a lot less about comparing myself to them. Now, really, the only thing I pay attention drumming wise is how have they tuned their drums? Do I like it? Do I want to steal that? Um, and then the kind of second part of that twofold approach is that I'm not a lyrics person. I have a very scatter brain, so I can't really pick up on lyrics at a fast speed. So I just listen to music for like how it can make me feel. Um, so as far as going to like live shows and my approach to it, it's really okay, I'm going to stand here in this crowd. What emotion is this going to evoke out of me? Doesn't matter what the person is saying, right? How does everybody's playing their attitudes on stage? What does that evoke from me? Um, and I think those are really the main things I like take from a show. It's just like drum tuning and emotions, which is a good record name, I guess.
Drum tuning and the emotions.
Okay, Yoko.
What do you got,
Yeah.
Casey?
My dad is a singer-songwriter and I grew up going to his shows, and then he started a radio show where he interviews other singer-songwriters and they play songs. So I've been going to concerts my entire life, and now as a photographer, videographer, I go out on the road with bands and, film their shows. So like I I love it. Like I love going to concerts. I love watching and if I can I think watching my friends play music is one of the most fun things in life. Like I love it. I just remember when we played, it was my birthday actually. It was a birthday show that we put on at Hole in the Wall. And Hanover, who are some of our dear friends, ripped. I mean, I think it was their first show.
Mhm.
It was their first show, and they were playing with us at Hole in the Wall. And I just like I was bouncing up and down like a kid, and just the smile and just watching them play and watching them put all this work that they've put on display, and just how good that felt for them and how good it made me feel. I love it. And then like, for me, like growing up having my dad as a singer-songwriter, learning how to like learning about songwriting as an art, and watching somebody with just an acoustic guitar lose themselves in an expression. It's like a spiritual experience for me. Like watching somebody go up there with an acoustic guitar, and especially now having done that and knowing how hard it is to captivate a room by yourself. And watching someone do that it's a spiritual experience. It's really great. I love it. I got the opportunity to go on tour with BJ Barham of American Aquarium. They're from North Carolina,
Yeah, yeah.
and he is a master. I mean, he is a master at that. And getting to see that and see how much it means to the people in the audience, what it does for them, and also what it does for me. It's my favorite thing. It's the best.
Yeah, that's I mean, going to live shows, if I don't go to at least one a month like I do, it's like going to the ocean. Like I have to see the ocean like, every once in a while, like
Oh,
just to make sure like I'm like my soul is okay.
Oh yeah.
So
that's so
so let's
funny.
talk about Grant Pittman because he obviously has done a decent amount for you guys in your short time with him. How did that all come about? And talk about his relationship with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of studio tours, I ran into Grant at a East Austin studio tour, God, 2 years ago. Uh, and I was going down the stairs, leaving one of the venues, and he just like grabbed my arm and he's like, "Hey," it's like, "Yeah. um, are you in Montclair?" And like, I love Grant because he's a very intense person. He's very energetic and like focused and present. And like he just looks at you with his eyes and they're just like they're there. And you're like, oh. And he was like, I want to talk to y'all about something. Like I've been following you for some time, went to A&M, just a little bit older and like looking to get into like maybe helping with some management stuff and would love to talk to y'all. And then I was trying to leave and just like, I don't know who you are. You're looking at me very intensely. Sure,
I'm
man.
scared.
Like, I think I like, gave him a number and then I left, and then that was that. And I didn't think about it for a little while, and then I can't remember if y'all had talked before, but when we did the Heart is Alive release show, when we released Heart is Alive as a single, we did it at a little bar in East Austin, and Grant showed up and he made this effort to talk to every single one of us at different points in the show to like process how we were feeling and like it, it it's always interesting to see when people make those little intentional efforts to make you feel special and recognized, and he's just very natural at doing that. And from that moment we were like we should give this guy a shot. We still don't really know him. Like he's saying he wants to start something. Like hopefully it goes somewhere. I don't know. Um, and he is just such a special guy. And like I said, so driven, so dedicated. He is incredible at connecting with people. He's an incredible advocate for people. Um, and it's just been a real pleasure, having him in our court. And I feel like we've been able to really focus on more of the art, having him at our side too. Because when you're just a little indie band trying to juggle all the balls yourself, figure out like what the heck is happening. What do you post when? Who do you reach out to for shows? Is anyone even logged into the Gmail account? Like that kind of stuff. He's helping us a lot, and I'm just really, yeah, I'm thankful for that guy. I don't know if you have anything to add for Granty boy.
Yeah, I mean, he believes in us, like he believes in us. At that Heart is Alive show, he came up to me and he's like, dude, I just love how you guys are really friends, you guys really love what you do. And I think I was getting my kind of, and I didn't really know who he was, but I was kind of getting my stuff. I think I knew that maybe he wanted to manage us, and I was kind of at the same time packing away my stuff. And I just looked at him and go, dude, it's all real, man. It's all real. Because it is real, like that is the thing that keeps us coming back. It's like life can get hard, and life has been hard for the last few years, but like that's the thing that keeps us coming back is this shit is 100% real. And he got that. And I think that he like me understands the need to protect that, and he wants to see it grow. And I can't I'm so grateful for him because he he believes in us, and he shows it, with his actions.
Yeah. I'll add one quick thing, but y'all basically covered everything I would have said. But he brings a level of organization to organization and action to our band and to all of the other artists he managed that I don't think I won't speak for the other band's behalf, obviously, but for us specifically, like I don't think that's a level of organization and action we ever would have reached on our own. We had several friends kind of over the years step in and out intermittently to like help us try and book shows or try and stay on top of things, but uh, ultimately none of them were like long-term forces for positive change. And then Grant came in, and within like 2 months, he was like, bam, show, bam, EPK, bam, website, bam, press release. Like he's got all of these things, you know, yeah, he's just a force of nature. I mean, it's so awesome to work with him, and like Kason said, it's really great that he believes in all of the artists he works with to his core, which is awesome.
Well, and did I read that he manages or managed the band Civil Twilight? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with
I
that.
actually don't
Okay.
know. He
Okay.
he has a lot of previous music management experience in New York City, so I don't really. I'm trying to think of any of the other artists he mentioned,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought when I read up on him that that was one of the bands, and they are
Okay.
from South Africa, I think.
Hmm.
Um, Amazing. Like we actually saw them on a roof at South by.
Whoa.
Yeah, they fucking rock. Yeah, that's and but they've kind of been dormant for a while, so I don't know what's going on with them. But anyway, so
Civil Twilight, you said?
what's that?
Civil Twilight, you said?
Yeah, Civil Twilight.
I'm gonna text him and listen to them after the show.
Oh, dude, they're amazing. Like
Heck
Sonic,
yeah.
just yeah, they're so good. Um, so speaking of music venues in Austin, you guys got to play Stubbs for Free Week 2026. Talk about Free Week 2026 because obviously most people outside of Austin don't know what that is. And then for people who don't know, what is Stubbs and what it means to the city of Austin?
That was a great show because I flew in from a festival at 1 p.m. that day. Our show was at 8, and also Grant's wedding was at 5 p.m. And so it was a very exciting day on very many different levels.
Wow.
And the show was freaking awesome. I mean, like, it was really great. We played our new song for the first time. Clay is singing lead vocals on one of our songs that he wrote. And we played that for the first time. And Free Week is awesome because it's a great representation again of like the organizational effort that happens within all of the venues and all of the people in Austin and especially on Red River. Like, it's so awesome that they made that. It's so awesome that that happens and that it packs out. Like, it was a packed house line out the door, and that's just such a great organizational effort by the city and by the venues and everyone involved to make that a reality. It's just another reason Austin is such a great town, that things like that happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's special for sure. I don't know how long Free Week has been going on now, but I know it's taken various forms in terms of length.
Mm.
But just yeah, people continue to show out, and then even after the show, the merch table, people being like, okay, which venue should I go to next? Like there's that like local resourcing that's going on because people just want to partake in the music culture here, which is really special. And then Stubbs is just a really special venue to play Free Week at because it's been around forever. I mean, I don't when did they open Stubbs? It's got
60.
such an odd history with its connection in Lubbock and like because they're two
Yeah.
stubs, whatever. And so so many people have played both of those locations, and I'm not well versed on my Stubbs history and how those intersect and whatnot. But um, it's always really special being in a venue where you can like feel the history. I was gonna say you can taste it a little bit, but that feels really
Taste it a
aggressive.
little bit. It's a barbecue.
Yeah, but like like you're in the like you can just kind of like it's there, it's
We did
there.
a show there where they had free beef sandwich
Yeah,
one
Yeah.
yeah,
time, and we ate those, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
I,
pay for it.
I I I had already loaded out, and then I tried to go back and get one, and they had already closed, and I
I'm
was really
sorry.
sad. But yeah, like it's just always special to be in a venue that has character like that, and again, just I feel like half of this call has just been harping on like the culture and support of Austin, but even just the way they organize shows at Stubbs, like it's very artist focused, and I think sometimes with bigger venues these days you lose some of that, and you feel like you're being pushed in and out, and there's such an appreciation there, and even when I was grabbing my bands at the beginning of the show, I was grabbing them just like, hey, like, oh, you're in Montclair, you played here like a few months ago, and like there's that connection and the importance is seen in those interactions. And that's just, so special and so nice.
Also, what's cool about it is like for the people who don't really know that much about Stubbs, like my parents, they see we're playing Stubbs and they picture us on the big stage outside with the big white, over thing, and they go, "Wow, he's really doing great for himself." And I don't correct
Yeah.
them.
What's the green room like there?
Oh, it's awesome. I was getting lost out there. Me, Anna, and then Alec, who's been playing keys with us. We were out there just like roaming around because you have a big old green room that's side stage, and then you have a big old um, little outdoor seating area and an Airstream with like a record player and speaker. Like you can just cozy up out there for days, and it's just the best. I love that little space.
That's so
Hey,
cool.
do you guys mind if I use the
Yes.
restroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You guys-
You know how to use the
Oh,
toilet.
yeah.
I know how to use the restroom.
My toilet is having issues refilling, and so you have to use chopsticks to trigger the the refill
Hey,
thing.
whatever works, right?
Hey, that's rock and roll right
We're
there.
not plumbers.
Trade school is what they're selling you, so
That's
it's
right.
good.
You win some, you lose some, right? So I want to know from the two of you, like how much do you guys as a band, how much is social media, all of that, like a focus? Is it 50%? Is it 100%? Like where are we at with, reaching
I,
our fans?
I'll take this one, Clay.
I know it's
I can
exclusively
see him
Jack.
smiling, knowing I was about to jump on this. Yeah, so I outside of Montclair have worked in ad agencies since I graduated college, and a lot of that work has been specific to social media. So um, what happened is we graduated college and decided to continue the band. We're like, okay, this is going to be great. Anna had been kind of managing our socials up until this point because she is the vibe curator supreme. Like she can make like if you think something's cool, she knew it was cool 6 months ago, right? And so as we like left college, we are like, okay, let's kick Montclair into high gear, right? Jackson, you do social media professionally in quotes. Um, you go ahead and take over. And so social media has been kind of primarily my effort
Okay.
in collaboration with Kaysen and Anna. Anna as the vibe curator and Kaysen as the photographer, videographer, kind of the media director. Um, but the problem is social media changes every 10 minutes. So, we are trying our best to stay on top of it, but we see all these bands that are like content engines, right? You have uh, bands that can put out a TikTok every 3 hours and an Instagram post every 3 hours, and they build up these giant followings kind of on this constant content stream. And the problem we face is that when we're together, we want to write music and have fun writing music and enjoying each other's company, not necessarily sit down to film TikToks or Instagram reels. Um, and then when we're apart, we all have day jobs. So as far as like becoming these content engines that we see, we are working towards being better at that. But honestly, it is kind of this ongoing balance of how do we have a presence because that's kind of how do we have a good social media presence because that's required basically these days to be a successful band, and then how do we find kind of the intersection of having a good presence and enjoying what we do still, because it's clear that kind of the social media process is none of our passions. um, so to answer your question as far as percentage goes, it changes by the day. Some days it's like 90% is going to be social media because we have shows coming up we need to promote. We owe it to the venues and the promoters to get people to the shows. And then other times it's like, dude, we've all been pulling late shifts. We've all been, busy with personal lives. Like we got out one post this week. Let's all pat ourselves on the back and just figure it out next week.
What do you guys think?
I missed the question. I just hopped in at the end. What was the question?
Percentage of time with music versus social media.
Oh
For
gosh.
me, it's all music. I don't participate in the social media. I made that very clear early on. I can be a starring actor. I don't operate on the logistical side.
Yeah.
And you can call that a flaw. I call it a boundary.
Lucky for Clay, he's good enough at guitar that like we're kind of like, we'll let the other guys work on the social media. No. I think the thing about social media is like Jackson said, for us, we're still trying to figure it out. I think, it's the kind of thing that when we get around to it, we try and get around to it. I don't think it's ever going to be that important to us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think ideally our music, our shows, our like public presence will
Yeah.
help us, organically grow our reach the same way bands used to before social media, before the internet. I would love for that to be what carries us to success, but like I said, social media is kind of a required thing these days. So finding the balance of music and social media, I think is kind of key.
And let me say, if there's anybody out there watching this who loves our band and wants to help us by becoming our social media marketing and genuinely loves that, please
Yeah,
do.
open job application.
Yeah. They can send barbecue from Austin. That's good.
That's right. Right. We will mail you Stubbs barbecue.
Oh, we can do better than that.
We can.
I'll show up at your front door.
That's right.
We gotta go to Franklin's, baby.
Yeah.
So, do we have a favorite barbecue spot in Austin since we're on that topic?
Ooh.
Man, what is my favorite?
My wife's a vegetarian.
It's not the question.
I'm sorry.
I think Mums is like goated. Mums is fantastic. It's real. KG Barbecue is just down the street from me. Also fantastic. But I will say their bowls are better than their like bulk brisket. Their bowls go really hard. Um, and as much as Terry Black's is kind of like the cultural phenomenon, it hits every time. You can't go wrong.
What was the place we waited in line for that one time?
Leroy and Lewis.
Leroy and Lewis.
I love Leroy and Lewis. I love
Listen, the band is not the band with Jackson living in Houston. It's hard. Like practice time is valuable. Like when Jackson's in town, we can't waste any time. And I'm sitting there in this barbecue. And I can't remember who wanted to go there. But
It was Clay and I. We were dreaming about this spot.
And we wasted the whole day.
Yeah, we were in line for 2.5 hours, and then we got to the end, and they were sold out of everything
except burnt ends.
Yeah,
I haven't eaten barbecue since.
They were so good though. Those were some good burnt ends.
But like it was like 35 degrees. It was an actual cold day in Austin. We were losing daylight. No, like they cut off the line after us. Like it was just tough. But hey, Leroy's good. They have a good burger. Don't sleep on their burger.
I've not been to Leroy Lewis, but I've heard many people say that they're good. We like Mickelwaith's. Have you ever been to Mickelwaith's? Dude, it's so good.
So good.
And then La Barbecue too. I like La Barbecue. But,
Nice.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever in Houston, go to Pinkerton's. That's the place to go. That's the only one I recommend. I mean, there's so many good ones, but that's the one. It has a Michelin star. So
do they have a location at the airport or no?
no.
Okay.
Close enough. 20-minute drive.
All right, not bad. When we pick you up, we'll stop.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll swing y'all through. It'll be awesome.
So I want to talk about songwriting, guys. So is songwriting a collaborative effort, or is it just you, Kason, or is it, how does that work? And is it, if it is just you, are you guys more of a lyrics first and then music, or are you more music first and then lyrics?
It's definitely a collaborative effort. I mean, it kind of varies from song to song, right? I think some songs kind of feel like, oh, this is maybe more of a core Kason song. This is more of a core Honest song. But I think I don't think there are very many songs. Maybe some of the early ones because I kind of started writing by myself. But whenever the band kind of started with me writing by myself, but as kind of I don't know that there are many songs that aren't like collaborations in some form or another, whether it's like lyrics or chord progression or whatever, the kind of the core elements of the song, it feels very collaborative. But I think for the most part, like when it comes to lyric or music first, it's also been a mix. A lot of times Clay comes up with a guitar part, we're like, oh, that needs to be a song. At the beginning, yeah, I mean, a lot of my early songs would kind of come together at the same time, music and lyrics. So yeah.
Clay, who are some of your favorite guitarists?
Oh boy. I am a sucker for anything that Jeff Tweedy has ever created. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It is a fact about me. And by proxy, Nels Klein. Those are two of the deepest rabbit holes I've ever gone on, guitar-wise. But I adore, maybe more. Actually, I'll change the word, not adore, but I feel most connected to Hayden Pedigo as a guitarist. He's a acoustic fingerstyle guitarist out of Amarillo, and he is like he embodies everything I love about music. He embodies everything I love about guitar. In many ways, I listen to his music and I see myself, which is like a very weird experience as an artist to have that. But I draw so much inspiration from him and the way he orchestrates soundscapes and silence and all that stuff. It's really beautiful. Harrison Whitford is someone I come back to time and time again. He's played on so many freaking things, but I think, got a lot of maybe public view time when he was touring with Phoebe Bridgers, because I think he played all over the Stranger in the Alps record and some of the early EPs, and then also that second record as well. But like those four guys always come back to me. And like whenever I'm trying to write something new, I pull from them. And if I struggle, I like go down the jazzy Bill Frisell route and see what I can do with Bill. Um, I don't know. And I've been gravitating a lot towards like a lot of orchestral music lately too, because I play a lot of slide and I try and mimic other instruments when I play slide. Just I think you learn to navigate the fretboard and control your hand a lot better. And so like a lot of Stravinsky stuff I've been listening to lately, a lot of Nina Simone lines and vocal runs, all that stuff. I don't know. I just started rambling. I feel very passionate about using your instrument to learn stuff that doesn't come from your instrument.
I think that's fascinating. And I'm thankful that you are a Wilco fan because there's not enough of us out there.
A dying breed. Spencer Tweedy is carrying the torch by playing with everyone these days. We're like, go.
Well, so yeah, speaking of Spencer, I don't know if you're familiar with his fiance, Case Oates.
Um, oh gosh.
So
Am I?
Spencer is the drummer in the band, but she's the lead singer. I think her
Okay.
name's Casey Gomez Walker, but the
Okay.
band is called Case Oates. It's like again one of the best albums of the year last year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Spencer plays Spencer plays drums on it. But yeah,
Great.
I've seen the Autumn Defense. I've seen Wilco. I saw when we were in Nashville in 2018. We went to this place called the Five Spot, which is in East Nashville. If you ever get to Nashville, like one of the best venues. And it was a Tuesday night, and it was $5 cover, $5 beers, and it was Pat Sansone and the keyboardist, and it was just them and their friends doing 60s British rock for 3 hours. It was fucking insane. And I'm sitting like 10 feet from both of them, like on the stage. Like there's maybe like 35 of us in the entire bar. Like it was
That's a
amazing.
good thing. You'll never forget that. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So let's talk about the Killjoy music video because I've been dying to know like how this came about, like what the inspiration was, because it's a great song, first of all. So congratulations. But the video itself, like let's hear the story behind this.
Yeah, I mean, man, I'm trying to think what the original, very, very original thing was. A lot of our all of our songs are about our own personal experiences, I think, at the core of them. Sometimes they take a more abstract, kind of way. Other times they're more dead on. But I think Killjoy was a Clay and I collaboration. And it was kind of about just it's a frustrated song, I think. But also it's kind of a fun and dumb, like kind of like I don't know. Clay called it a shit post at one time, and
Yeah.
I think that's true. And honestly, I want to do more of that kind of stuff because I think that can be where a lot of creativity comes from. But that song, in the video, I feel like did a really good job of capturing that. The video was kind of a collaboration between me and Anna, our bassist, who's not here. But the original idea was like basically Anna is throwing this party, and then Clay comes in and destroys all of it. And I had read this is kind of a deep cut, but I had read this book by Dan Simmons called The Terror, and it's like this historical horror, but the main thing is that there's this boat that's stuck out on ice for years and years and years, and to entertain themselves they throw these parties. So they throw this party based on the poem by Edgar Allan Poe, Mask of the Red Death. Do you know this poem?
I
It's
I'm familiar
Yeah.
with it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so in this poem, there's this eccentric billionaire who throws this party while his entire kingdom is, under this like horrible plague. And he throws this eccentric party, kind of almost poking fun at the plague. And in classic Poe style, the plague shows up as a guest at the party and destroys the entire thing. And I went, "Oh my gosh!" Like this is our music video, In the Dan Simmons book, it was really cool. The monster in the book, this like horror book, plays the role of the mask of the plague in the poem in the book. It was this like incredible story in this book. Like it blew my mind, and it came to mind while we were conceptualizing this idea. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the video. So in the poem, there's all these different colored rooms that are kind of the theme of this party. And so we thought like, oh, maybe that's something we could incorporate in the video. And so we have a couple friends who are costume designers and makeup hair stylists who were like, let's create a costume that is the color of each of the rooms from the poem. And then Clay is our plague, destruction, whatever, who's going to come in to this eccentric party thrown by Anna and destroy everything. So we did that by lighting the cake on fire.
Yeah, you couldn't use your guitar as a weapon. That wouldn't have worked.
Nope. Nope. Yeah. But it was really fun to shoot. And I think the best part about all of it was just watching the way Kason and Anna collaborated on it. And, I wish Anna was here. But she is like one of the most, if not the most creative person that is like a force in my life. And the design of all the costumes was, it started with her ideas. She created a significant portion of the set. Like we rallied together a lot of people to make it happen. But just the execution on a really abstract idea like that, like turned out so well. And it was so fun to shoot. And yeah, I mean,
You killed the
yeah,
role.
we were in the backyard, it was in one of our houses, and we were in the backyard till like 4 a.m, me just getting kicked off the table repeatedly. And I had a migraine. I got home at 5 a.m. and just threw up and slept on the bathroom floor. Like it was just like I think like my physical state embodied everything about it just came together really well. Hopefully Anna didn't curate that part, but I'm
Well,
sure she did.
Well, and that's the reality too, is like, going back to what we were talking about earlier about bands in Austin, it's like the reality is like we're doing all this stuff ourselves. I mean, like he acted in it. Anna was in charge of the entire set, all the little details on that table. I showed up at 2 p.m. and did all the lighting. I filmed the entire thing. Our entire budget, we have no budget. The entire budget that we did have went to buying things on Amazon to make all the knickknacks. And then Jackson spent an entire Saturday returning all of those things to Amazon. So I think like, I'm so proud of that video, and I love that we did it together, So
Yeah,
And I just I was gonna say, I just feel the need to highlight the fact that this was all filmed in one day. This was like what, 12, 14 hours straight. There was no multi-day shoots. There was no multi-day setups. This was a what, a Tuesday?
I think it was a Thursday,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
but
was a weekday.
yeah,
It was a
we
I
school
worked
night.
the next day
we
up
were
at 8 a.m.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the ultimate DIY right there, boys.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
So you have 10 songs basically recorded on Spotify. What do we have in the pipeline, or what can your fans expect? Like anything recorded coming up, or what are you playing, at your live shows now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're gonna have some new stuff out soon. We were in the studio earlier in the fall recording a kind of new batch of songs, and we kind of like are hitting a cool stride rhythm where we have new songs, new songs, that we've written too. So we're hoping to get back in the studio here again soon to do those, and we're kind of hoping that there's going to be a nice little onslaught of music coming out over the next few months and over this next year. I'm hoping that we can. I mean, shoot, if we can find a way, we're gonna put a lot of music out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think at shows you can expect a pretty healthy mix of songs from our current album, songs that will be coming out soon, songs that are new and haven't been recorded yet, but we promise they're awesome, and then maybe some of the like true oldies. I mean, oldies, 5 years old, but whatever.
So when you guys first started out, and you were just, you had a handful of songs that are originals, what kind of covers were we playing, or were we not doing any covers?
Oh, we were playing covers.
Yeah, we played Darlin' by Houndmouth at every single show for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I love that. Houndmouth is amazing. I love Houndmouth.
Band that got discovered at South by.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we bring it back
That
in their honor.
yeah. We we played a lot of like indie rock either in or adjacent to the Austin scene for a long time, I feel like. We covered several Shaky Grave songs over the years. What was it, Perfect Parts? Oh man, I'm stumped on the
Cops and
rest of them.
Robbers is the other
Cops
one.
and Robbers. Oh yeah. We played that song so many times I thought it was ours for a second.
Any
Yeah.
Was it
spoon?
with No, I wish.
Okay.
It's on my wish list.
Okay.
The
Um,
Districts.
oh yeah, the Districts.
That's a Philly band, right?
Yeah, they're actually literally like from my hometown, Lidditz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
they're amazing.
What'd you got? Which cover? What'd you do?
Youngblood.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Jackson's been
was
asking for long distance for years, and we haven't
yeah.
had it happen yet, but it will someday.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, they're great. They've not done anything for a while either. Like they're kind of
That Pandemic record they put out, the blue one,
Yeah, Velour and Velcro, right?
that's the song that's a song that's on it. That
Is that-
record is so good. I am a huge Rob Grote fan. I mean, like they're that band, and I don't think that, like you said, I don't think they're doing stuff much anymore. But
no.
that's a loss for me because that record. I think it's I'm not going anywhere. I believe
yeah.
is the title of it, and that record is so good. It's the best record to me that they put out, and I wish it got more attention. I think because it was a pandemic record, it got lost in the shuffle like a lot of pandemic records did. But man, that record's
It was
good.
special.
Yeah, I'll have to listen
I
to that again. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah. I have a very vivid memory early, like 5 or 6 months into Montclair, where I was in the business school at A&M and bumped into Kaysen randomly watching a video on his phone. And he was like, dude, thank goodness you showed up. You have to watch this. This is how our live shows are going to be. And he showed me a clip of the Districts playing Youngblood live where Rob like jumps off his amp and then like kicks it in. He like kicks the front face of it in. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm in for that.
Yeah, I think me and Jackson were watching it the next day before a marketing exam too, in the back,
Yeah.
watching Rob just go feral.
Yep.
So,
Oh,
who
man.
of the four of you is the most animated on stage? Then, would you say?
Kaysen.
Without a doubt. Nutcase.
The moment I knew Montclair was going to be like a substantial band, because I've been playing in bands since I was 13. Like I've been in like over a dozen bands, and the reason I knew Montclair was like different than the rest was because in our practices in Kaysen's bedroom, which was the size of a postage stamp, we would be practicing covers and he would be getting onto his bed and jumping off into a power slide and like thrashing around and knocking his own, like he would be breaking his own stuff during practice. And I was like, okay, like this is a guy who cares, and this is a band that's going to put on a good show. Let's rock.
I mean, that's a ringing endorsement if I ever heard one. So what do we got then for tour dates then from for now until maybe like summer? Anything for the spring, or what do we got? Anything lined up?
Right now, it's mainly South by.
Okay.
I think we're kind of focusing on trying to get these new songs finished and get in the studio. But yeah, right now we're kind of focusing on that and kind of seeing where the summer takes us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what
lots of
opportunities
local.
comes from it, right? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully you
exactly.
get the right person that sees you and, it's you would
We're
be
gonna put it
many,
all out
many.
there for sure.
Yeah. So I want to talk about three different songs. I want to talk about Coming to the Rescue because obviously that was the first song that kind of got me turned on to you guys. First of all, it's a fantastic song. It's got like this energy to it that really like kind of like permeates and like then it'll kind of come back down. Then it permeates and there's something about that. Was that kind of organic or was that kind of like meant to happen?
It's weird. Like that song, I think it. I love the story of how that song kind of happened because Jackson was about, again, Jackson is every time we get ready for practice, all of us are facing a 20-minute drive to our homes, and Jackson's facing a 3-hour drive back to Houston. And we were finishing up a writing day, and Jackson had just put everything in all his drums into their cases and was getting ready to head out the door. And I know he's thinking, oh, now I got to get in the car and, whatever. Or maybe he's thinking about what song he's going to listen to. But Anna started playing the bass riff. Bum, 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 bum. And for whatever reason, my voice memos was rolling. And you can hear me in the background go, should we write another song right now? And then Anna kept playing the song, and I just started singing, just like riffing some lyrics that I had already written down. The nobody's coming to the rescue, and making up some random lyrics. Like there was a tube screamer on the amp, so I started singing tube screamer. And then Clay started playing guitar, and then I think what happened was that voice recording went to the band group chat or whatever. And then 3 days later, Anna sent a recording and she had taken that recording, recorded some new stuff, and she had like an entire song with verses and all this stuff. And we were like, let's go.
Yeah,
You know?
that's one thing Anna does. She'll just take a little idea and then record everything vocally into GarageBand while driving, like to Dallas, and then send us a completed song, and then we just learn what she hummed. It was great. Um, yeah, that one's good.
I think that there was this like interesting push and pull that came in that song when we were writing it too, because it took us, our album took us the better part of 4 years to write, create, and record. And Coming to the Rescue was a very long part of that because, like you mentioned with the energy permeating, originally the song was like 7 minutes long. We had like multiple instrumental breakdowns. We were trying to be Wings, right? We were trying to be Wings too. Um, so they're like we have all these big giant jam sessions and like samba grooves and all these things going on, and we were like, wait a minute, did we overthink this? Have we done too much here? And we went back to that voice memo and that first like the first jam session where you can hear me groaning and unzipping my drum bags to like reset back up to write this song is ultimately what ended up just being the perfect mix.
So it went from 7.5 minutes to what, four, right? Four.
Or yeah,
Was that difficult trying to cut out like certain parts, or
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
brutal.
yeah.
And it was
You learn a lot about yourself.
yeah. I think the way that song ended up,
wow.
like in like the push and pull, is just reflective of the struggle that it was to resolve that song because we all had very different opinions on it. And it's ultimately like the most simple, rudimentary version of the song. Like nothing is happening that's complex. in terms of like the chord arrangements. Like I mean, everything's pretty straight. And yet, like, we just could not resolve it for the life of us. And so I think like a lot of the starts and stops and pushes and pulls in the song are kind of reflected in just necessity, where we just kind of gave up and it was just like, this is just what it is now. Like, this is the only thing we can agree on that's fine.
Mm.
And
Well,
we've grown to love it, I think.
I think,
And there, yeah, there's just a lot of conviction in so many different areas. And it was very, very interesting.
I think like we definitely learned a lot about ourselves as a band for that song. And I think part of that is just communicating, but then at the other side of me, the kind of more like, that song and the tension that created that song, I think is a huge part of what makes that song good. And I think in the studio, the way that came together was in the studio, we were still trying things. We still didn't know what the structure of that song was going to be, like the third verse or the jam session or whatever. And I think like sometimes leaving a little bit of room, especially, it can be scary as a young band to leave room going into the studio. But like I think leaving some room for some improv, like I love in the third verse that little like trinkly kind of thing that you did, and you played that one time, and the first time you ever played it was the time that you hear on the record. And I think that that's something that we are trying to lean into more with our new songs, is like how can we leave room for magical things to happen, and how can we also not get scared when there's a little bit of tension, like when there's a little bit of tension, maybe that actually means we're on the right track. And if we start getting scared and freaked out, that's when the claws start coming out. But I think what we've learned to do is just to like relax and just let the song do what it needs to do.
I mean, yeah, it works for the song. It definitely works. So let's talk about Sunroom, because it's a completely different vibe on this song. It's kind of light. It's kind of, I don't want to say bouncy, but it's more breezy. Like, talk about the story behind that song.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time we started trying to piece it together was so Texas just finished an ice storm. I don't know if you heard about that in Philly. Um, but that was the 2021. No, was that the 21 freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that freeze sucked for one. Catastrophic for two. Didn't have water or power for like 6 days because we were doing rolling blackouts. And so, we were kind of rotating houses because we were still on our little College Station commune, little vibe of just bouncing around. And me, Case, and Anna were up in his room, and it was like power on right a little bit, and then power would shut off, and then you'd be like, okay.
Remember.
And like little bits of Sunroom came out of that, in little melodies. And then at the time we were practicing in Anna's garage, and we just sat with that song for forever, lyrically, instrumentally, not because it was like necessarily the most difficult thing to finish, but it felt so special and pure. Because it felt really representative of our college experience,
Yeah.
in many ways. And we wanted to feel like we were capturing what we were feeling, and it was hard to like identify that. And instrumentally, it came together, I think, a few months before the lyrics dropped into place. But I know like one night, Kason and Anna were on a FaceTime call till like 3 a.m. And then I woke up to go to work at 6:30. And then I saw like the full lyrics in a voice memo. And it's like, that's the shit. That's it. That's done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we recorded the first version of Sunroom with the first batch of songs we ever recorded. And then it didn't make the cut because we weren't sure about like arrangement stuff. There's some back and forth with that. So we tabled it. And then when we recorded it the last time, we just tried to really dumb it down and make it like my guitar part is played on a classical guitar that cuts off at the 10th fret. So half of like my playing is just buzzing out because I like struggling to reach it, and like it was awful. I still struggle to listen to the song because my like perfectionist brain is just like
I love
cringing. But also like that's part of it. It's like, it's sloppy, it's gross. Everything was freezing over. We only had a moment. It's like the take you get is the take you receive. And
I love, but Clay had never played it on a classical guitar, and I love putting him in compromising positions.
What do you say, Jackson?
Yeah, I think Kaysen kind of said earlier that most of our songs are representations of things we have gone through. Some are more abstract than others. This is, I would say, less abstract than others. It is kind of a glimpse into, what life was like just being 21 and writing songs with our friends and enjoying, the less speedy pace of life at the time. And so it's a glimpse into kind of the roots of our band, just like true friendship. Like if we never played a show or made a dollar in all of this time together, we would still be together doing this because we just love the company. We love the way we're able to express our creativity as a group or our emotions as a group. And I would love to tell you there's some deeper meaning to like, I've got a bag of fresh fruit. Let's sit on the porch. But truly, we used to just sit on Anna's porch after we finished a writing session in the garage, and we would eat fruit. And it's a beautiful memory. I love it, and I think, yeah, I'm just really glad that song's out. I could beam about it all day.
So, is there a song that you guys play live now that is either jammed out the most or sounds the most different from like your studio?
Great song, without a doubt.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean that song started with Jackson. We started with the drum riff. Take that. Um,
Yep.
All drumline beat came out of that after our second ever sh or third ever show. We had like a practice the next morning and that popped out. But when we play that live, I think there's a lot of space. We don't have a set length or time. We're gonna, jam on it. Kaysen will let the vocals sit for a while. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't, is there another song that moves like that? I feel like Groove Song, just every time we play it live these days, it feels really special.
Yeah. I'd say that's Clay's probably spot on with that one. It's again a song that was built around a drum riff, so kind of a la Led Zeppelin having one riff and then playing it for 11 minutes. We can kind of do that with Groove Song, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen Kaysen thrashing around stage as I'm playing super loud drums, and he turns to me mid thrash, and his eyes say "keep going," and I go, "Okay." So we're on like minute 7, minute 8. People are head banging. On his hair is like an ocean on the stage from head banging. And
We're
the
really
the
overselling
studio
this
the
song,
studio version of the song is awesome, man. I love the studio version of the song. However, the live version is like I would love to see some people like moshing or going crazy to that song live.
Let's make it happen at South by, boys.
So I'm saying, it sounds like you're our plant. If you wanna start a mosh pit for us during that song, you're our guy.
Let's do it. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being the first interview of the year. Can't wait to see you guys in a couple months. It's going to be here before we know
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Anything you want to plug before we say adieu?
No, I mean, we definitely are excited to get these new songs out. And if anybody watched through to the end of this, thank you.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, all of our socials are at Montclair the band, but our name as a band is just Montclair. We've been getting that confusion lately where people are like, "Oh, I can't wait to see Montclair the band." Just Montclair.
Yeah.
I kind of
Good
like
stuff.
it. That's a good ring.
Yeah, it's very specific, you know.
Yeah.
Rebrand may be coming soon.
Just yeah,
Rebrand.
taking that on everything. I'm gonna eat apple, the fruit.
Logo upcoming.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen,
No, but
thank you so much for doing it. As always, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands and artists that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dog. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.